سرقوها. وين نزلت؟ بدها تولع المنطقة هلا. يا واحد ورا
אנחנו מאתרים ומוצאים מנהרות הברחה ומנהרות שמאפשרות לארגון החמאס להביא אמצעים ויכולות שעלולים לפגוע בכוחותינו ובאזרחינו.
Let me be clear. We reject the ICC's application for arrest warrants against Israeli leaders. Whatever these warrants may imply, there is no equivalence between Israel and Hamas. And it's clear Israel wants to do all it can to ensure civilian protection. But let me be clear. Contrary to allegations against Israel made by the International Court of Justice, what's happening is not genocide. We reject that. We're going to always stand with Israel. and the threats against its security. And George Washington, expressing his hope that America would be a nation of religious freedom. I know today's reception falls on hard times. The trauma of October 7th and its aftermath of the deadliest day the Jewish people have undergone since the Holocaust is still fresh and ongoing with many of you. We have parents of someone being held hostage right now, and we're going to get them home. We're going to get them home, come hell or high water. And my commitment to safety of the Jewish people, security of Israel, and its right to exist as an independent Jewish state is ironclad. We stand with Israel to take out Sinwar and the rest of the butchers of Hamas. We want Hamas defeated. We'll work with Israel to make that happen. And consistent with Jewish values and compassion, kindness and dignity and human life, it's time for this war to end.
U.S. President Joe Biden on Friday said Israel has proposed a new Gaza ceasefire in exchange for the release of hostages.
Hamas needs to take the deal. For months, people all over the world have called for a ceasefire. Now it's time to raise your voices and demand that Hamas come to the table, agrees to this deal, and ends this war that they began.
The new proposal Biden laid out is made up of 3 phases. First, a 6-week ceasefire in which Israeli forces would withdraw from Gaza, and hostages would be exchanged for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. Palestinian civilians would return to Gaza, and 600 trucks would bring humanitarian aid into Gaza each day. Second, negotiations for a permanent end to hostilities. And the third phase, a major reconstruction plan for Gaza. While pressing Hamas, the president also called on those in Israel who were pushing for an indefinite war to change their minds.
I know there are those in Israel who will not agree with this plan and will call for the war to continue indefinitely. Well, I've urged the leadership in Israel to stand behind this deal, despite whatever pressure comes.
Talks between the two sides, mediated by Egypt, Qatar, and others, have repeatedly stalled, with both sides blaming the other for the lack of progress.
Prime Minister, a proposed ceasefire in the Middle East, do you think it's going to happen?
Well, it's very welcome news, and I hope Hamas take this opportunity to conclude the deal that's on the table, which will ensure that the hostages can be released and be back with their families, that we can flood Gaza with far more aid than has been getting in to alleviate the suffering that people have been experiencing, and then use that pause in the fighting to build a sustainable and lasting peace, which is what we all want to see. So again, I hope Hamas take the opportunity that is on the table to bring an end to the conflict.